Hey all, it's Harmon from Misfit Adventure, and we are going to cover how to make a very basic boss in MakeCode Arcade. All right, it can look intimidating at first, but really we're just going to make sure we get all of the elements before giving you a boss fight that y'all can actually make your own. All right, once again, the link will be in the description of this video, and let's just get right into it. All right, so at the start of this, I am in a new project, basic boss fight. So we're just on start. Let's go ahead and right off the bat, set a tile map. So let's go down here, tile maps, set tile map. Okay. And let's go ahead and click in this tile map. We are actually gonna go ahead and leave this blank for right now. Let's create two tiles though, real quick. I'm going to make a blue tile, use the paint feature right here, select blue, call it blue, done. And then let's set a red tile. Paint, bam. Okay, so let's set the red tile somewhere up here. And then let's select the blue tile and set it somewhere down here. All right. That's literally all we need to do to make our basic level and tile map set up. Okay. Now let's just create our hero. We're not going to animate this hero for the sake of simplicity for the video. We've covered that in previous ones, and you'll actually see it in some degrees later on for what we want to do for the projectiles. So for now, let's go set my sprite to kind of player. And within here, we'll just click. Let's just do the gallery assets right now. Um, this general hero character looks fine. Great. And let's make sure we can move this sprite with buttons. Okay. We're just going to get the basic setup again a little further. So on info, let's just set the life to 3 right now. Okay. So real quick off the bat, before we go any further, we can just see that the tiles have been set here. I'm going to move him down. Oh, can't do that yet because we didn't set everything up, but he has 3 lives, and we know that the tile map is working because we see this red tile. It looks like our player is starting out right at the top of this tile map. No worries. Let's go ahead and add a little more. So let's do the camera follow my sprite. Done loading. Great. We see the blue tile map too. Okay. We have player, health, moves with buttons. Not going to be animated. It's kind of hard to tell that the player is moving, I think, in the black backdrop, but that is just going to be okay for right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and just get right about for creating the sprite that will be our boss. Let's select this back again. Instead of my sprite 2, let's just call it an enemy, and it should change into... Nope, that's fine. We'll just create a new variable. So again, I'm clicking in the middle of this where the my sprite 2 is, and then new variable, my enemy. Okay. I don't know. Let's just set it somewhere fun. Again, we're doing this to make sure y'all can make a new boss as quickly as possible. Boom. Call it dog boss. Again, for anyone who watches the videos, these naming conventions are more for you to keep track of the assets as you're trying to name them, which is a very handy skill to go with it, but don't feel like you have to name this exactly the same thing. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and create actually a new hidden sprite. And I'll tell you why in a second. So we're going to set my sprite 3, and then we're going to actually, in here in this blue, just click it, drag it out, delete it. Now, what have we just done here? First of all, we're going to create the new variable, and I'll explain this as I go. So as I create the new variable, we're going to call it boss help. All right. So essentially, we are creating a life counter for the boss. So let's just set it to like 30 right now. All right. We're not going to see this one. We can see that the boss appears right on top of our character, and there's no overlapping, but we've got the camera following, the boss appears. Cool. All right. Now, we don't want these two to be appearing right on top of each other. So let's just go ahead and in the scene, let's place our sprite on top of something. My sprite will go on a random blue bar. And then before we even begin, you'd think after I just did it, it wouldn't be as hard. But sometimes you just forget in all these blocks. So if you get that way too, don't worry. If you don't and you think I'm silly, that's fine as well. All right, so we're going to place my enemy on top of the red box. All right. There we go. I'm at the blue. I'm going up. Ah, we have our boss at the red. Perfect. So everything is working so far. Now, we want our boss to kind of approach our player. We don't necessarily want them just standing still. There's other ways to go about this, but for now, since we're just doing a basic boss, let's go into sprites and set my enemy to follow my sprite. Now let's add a plus with speed at 100. That's going to be kind of fast. And I think for the purpose of this, let's just set it to 25. Oh, see, he's coming right at him. All right, nothing's happening right now, but we have the boss slowly and menacing coming in. Now, right now, this doesn't do it because we haven't set any overlap criteria, but we get the basic premise that our character is appearing where they need to, the boss is appearing, and the boss is following our player. All right, let's give our player something to defend themselves with. So, controller on A button is pressed. Let's go ahead and give our player a projectile. So into sprites, scroll down a bit to set projectile to come from my sprite. All right, now let's do something fun again just from the gallery. Bird works, or maybe it's a duck. I don't know. Duck. And let's give the duck some life again. So for the animation, we'll do this animation block. Make sure we change it to projectile and back into the gallery option. Duck fly. We'll shorten that animation so it flaps a little higher and we'll keep that on loop. All right, so we can see that as we do, we have it kind of goes in a diagonal angle. So we're going to want to make sure we change certain things here about the velocity, as you can see. Let's just keep it the Vx at 50 for right now and Vy at 0. Okay, so now we just have them only flying one direction. Doesn't super help us if the boss wants to come at us from another angle. That could be a challenge, but it's not the best game design principle. But to your own. And they fly all the way around. Let's set some conditions in. For this, we're going to go into the logic tab. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this if statement in. Okay, if statements are very powerful all throughout your game design. They are branching choices, dialogues, or just generally if you move one way, make sure it goes the other. And we're going to do just that for right now. So back into the logic, let's do 0 equals 0 as a potential option. Actually, no, let's not do that. Apologies. Let's go into logic and do if zero is less than zero. That doesn't make sense, but don't worry, it's all about changing. All right, within this, we need to see that if our character is running a certain way, we want them to be able to. So if they're going this way, we want the projectile. But if they're not, they're going in this direction, we want to make sure that the projectile actually shoots from the other way. So let's look at velocity x is less than zero. Since it's conditional, we're going to look for one of these in between. We don't want to set it. That's what we're doing. Ah, here we go. My sprite X. So remember, this is based on our hero sprites. We want it to say my sprite. All right, like it's doing here, we want it to align with the zero in the block code. And then let's change it to velocity X. All right, now let's see what happens as we go in. Yep, he's coming from that way. Now, right now, the bird's still going on the path, and we could just go about changing that, but we kind of probably want our projectile to do something else. But you can just see that in general, it is, if I do it on this side, it merges from the correct side as I'm going this way. And as I'm heading towards the right, it's at least shooting out to the right. Because it still has this velocity x of 50, it's always going to default going towards the right side. But we can also change a lot of that. So let's see, change projectile. Let's go change projectile velocity x. So back into sprites. We're going to change. So again, this is conditional. Make sure it's set to projectile. Again, we're going to go to the velocity x, and let's just set it to a full minus 200. Okay. Yep, see? As I'm heading this way, this is exactly what we want to do. If I see him there, he's there. If I see him there, he's there. All right. It's just, again, if I'm going on that path, I have now a multi-directional duck shooter. Great. Let's add something else to it. So we can set the enemy to follow, but we can actually also set the projectile to follow the enemy. So let's just go ahead and do that. Projectile to follow my enemy. All right, it's loaded. Let's see what we got here. Cool. So again, these are options for functionality, but as you can see, there's different ways to do it. Now our dog is besieged by ducks. Who's hunting whom now? All right, nothing's happening quite yet because we haven't set the overlap criteria on it. Let's go about doing that right now, just so we have some actual effects. All right, back in our sprites tab. So let's do on sprite kind of player overlaps with other sprite kind of player. As we have that, let's set that to enemy. So in case our player hits the enemy player, first of all, because we know that the enemy sprite is going to keep on coming at it, we'll quickly go to 0 health if we're not careful. So let's just change the position or the X position in the event that they overlap. And let's do something a little bit larger, like, I don't know, 30. All right, let's see what happens when that we go. All right, good. See, I have enough distance back that I can actually like move if I take a hit. So let's go ahead and go into info and we're going to change life by -1. Boom. There we go. But I can still move after. Great. All right, now let's like actually try and make something happen for our, sorry, let me correct myself. Let's make it so that we can actually defeat the boss. Now, we're not actually going to be affecting the boss sprite. So pay attention to this as we go along a second overlap physics. So we're going to do another one, but in this case, it's going to be projectile with other kinds enemy. Great. Let's go ahead and give some destroy effects. So we're going to destroy. Again, click in here, copy that. We're going to destroy the sprite that overlaps. And then, I don't know, let's just do something fun like confetti for, I don't know, 100 milliseconds. Okay, so we know our projectiles are going to get destroyed now. Let's try it. Whoop, confetti. Now, nothing's really affecting this boss other than we're showering him with confetti and ducks as the boss slowly travels towards us. Okay. Now, here's how we're going to affect the boss health. We're going to go into variables. So we're going to change a variable. In this case, we're going to do it to boss health by -1. Okay. Now, we're still only going to see the same things on our screen. Not a lot's going to change, but we're slowly reducing the boss health. Now, in this example, it's kind of because we want to set a boss where you don't know the health right now. So it's kind of a mystery for how many times you have to keep doing this for your players. So we now need to make sure we add some actual consequences to this. Let's go ahead and do game on game update. And then let's go back into logic and put some conditions in here. All right. And then back into logic one more time. 0 equals 0. Okay. And add the variables. So we're going to set boss health equals 0. We're just going to go ahead and say game over and win. All right, let's test this out. Our boss is moving slow enough, so I think I can get 30 very quick shots at. I'm just going to click away. He's following us. He's following us. Easy. All right. Now, if we want to go ahead and change just a little bit here, we can make it a little bit harder. Let's just set my enemy's speed to, I don't know. Let's see just what happens when setting it to 50 alone does. Ooh, much faster. I wasn't ready. All right. See, I'm already been able to do a lot of shots at him, but he is gaining on me pretty hard. Oop. That was my own mistake, not paying attention on it, but we can see that we can add levels of challenges to it. We'll have other videos for how to make even a harder boss based on this one, but for now, thank you for enjoying and happy gaming, everyone.